Scarlet and Violet are now out, and Gen 8 is officially over. So long. It was interesting. No, honestly, I really enjoyed this past generation, with Sword and Shield being the sole reason I went out to buy a Switch. I enjoyed my adventures in Galar, probably as much as I did traveling across Paldea. Both games are flawed, of course, but I think if we learn anything from Sword and Shield, it's how much good DLC can improve the overall experience of a game. Though I'm not here to speculate on future DLC possibilities for Scarlet and Violet. Instead, I want to check out all the references that were made to the past generation. Pokemon, after all, has always made an effort to ensure its games feel part of a singular, cohesive universe. Multiverse? Omniverse? Either way, just the same way as they foreshadow their upcoming games with items and maybe even wallpaper, they pay homage to their previous games with recurring characters and small in-world details. For instance, did you know you're from Galar? As in, you the player. At the start of the game, you've recently moved to Paldea, and I think it's pretty clear that we're supposed to infer that you moved there from Galar. I first thought this when our mother told Director Clavel that he simply must stay for a cuppa. One of the coolest things about traveling through Galar was the attention to detail in the way people spoke to you, often using British slang to refer to the real-world inspiration for the region, and someone saying, "stay for a cuppa," would have fit in beautifully. I was a little confused that we referred to her as Mom rather than Mum like we did in Sword and Shield, but maybe our character is just from the north part of the region. Besides, when you consider the limited possessions we've managed to unpack so far, almost all of them serve to back up this idea. There's the stickers on the wardrobe, which are all of either Pokemon first discovered in, or at least available in Galar, like Applin and Hatena. Then there's the records on our shelf, one of which depicts Tootle. The giant stuffed Squavit in the corner of our room, plus the real-life one our family seems to keep as a pet. When you combine that with the sports cap we possess at the start of the game that depicts Boltund, and the fact that we can still spin in this game even though there's no need to due to the lack of Milcery, I just don't see any way we could be from any other region. Though, I will say, our character's inability to successfully execute the Leon pose after spinning likely made us the laughingstock of our previous school. Maybe that's why we had to move. Don't bully people. It's not okay. Once we reach the school, we can find a book in the library, which I assume was written by Sonia, titled Galar, a History. It describes the incident when the statues of the Sword and Shield legendary were inadvertently unveiled by Bede. Then there's the book of People and Pokemon, which speaks of ancient times when people and Pokemon lived in fear of one another, until a select few worked to bring the two opposing sides closer together. We can assume this is referring to the times of Hisui we saw in Legends Arceus, and the people referred to were our player character in that game, alongside Professor Laventon. Speaking of Professor Laventon, in the history classes, he is prominently displayed behind the teacher, alongside the Pokeballs of the time and images of Mount Coronet at the heart of Hisui. Clearly, this time period was a significant point in the history of the Pokemon world, likely with ramifications that stretch far beyond the borders of Hisui itself. Whilst you're taking classes at the Academy, if you go and do the language classes and help Salvatore... Is it Salvatore? Salvatore? That's actually unclear. This name is apparently pronounced differently between Spain, Italy, and England, so considering the man usually speaks French, yeah, I have no idea. Also, seriously, where is this guy from? He speaks French a lot, so I assumed Kalos, but his name suggests maybe Paldea. But he's also wearing a pin of an Alolan Raichu tail. He also knows Chinese and German, which are languages from regions we've not even seen yet, though we assume that a Chinese region must exist because of the Treasures of Ruin, But we're talking about Gen 8. And, in terms of our connection to Galar, if you help Salvatore heal up a Palmy, then he will gift you a Galarian Meowth. Nothing to snip at, as I hear Berserker is kinda busted in terror raids. Stepping away from the school, quite literally, we also have Penny, who, spoilers, after taking the fall for Team Star's actions a year and a half ago, she was sent to Galar instead of being expelled from the Academy. It's unclear if Penny has family that she stayed with in Galar, as she does mention a father who she's not the biggest fan of, but it's possible that the Paldean Academy has a link with one of the schools over in Galar. We know these schools must exist due to the existence of the schoolboy and schoolgirl trainer class in Sword and Shield. Though, unlike other games, I don't think we ever see an actual trainer school on our adventure. It could be interesting to see an exchange program between these two schools become more relevant in future DLC, perhaps with returning characters like Hop coming to Paldea to research at the Academy. And that's the main references to Gen 8 that I found in Scarlet and Violet. There's other small touches as well, like the gym leader music being reminiscent of the ones we heard in Galar, and, you know, the fact that these games have time travel in them, just like we had in Legends Arceus. But let me know if you found any other interesting nods to the previous generations in the comments below, because that's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you join me again on the next one. But until then, I'll catch you later. Continuing to make these videos would not be possible without the help from our channel members, and especially our Mega Tier members. Thank you.